What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I've got just a good old-fashioned unboxing video for you today. I am behind on my releases. I got to get caught up, and I've got some boutique Blu-ray and 4K. We got some 4K releases today too from all of the usual suspects that we talk about here on the channel, the boutique labels that I'm working with these days. I've got a big old box here from Imprint Films. This is kind of deceptively large. There's only 2 releases in here actually, but they are some big chunky box sets. So there is one pretty big box set, and then we have a second one here. So got to get these out of the bubble wrap and we will see what we got. All right, and the first release we're going to be looking at today is a big old box set, like I said, from Imprint Films for David Lean. This is one of their directed by box sets, and this is directed by David Lean, and this is volume 2. And I missed out on volume 1, so you guys are gonna have to let me know what was in volume 1. Was it worth it? Should I go back now and pick that one up as well? I think Imprint does a good job with their directed by box sets. I really like their Archers box set that they did last year, and I'm hoping for a volume 2 of that as well. First, we'll take a look at the card on the back and see exactly what films are in here. We have The Passionate Friends from 1949, Madeline from 1950, The Sound Barrier from 1952, Hobson's Choice from 54, Summertime from 55, which I'm familiar with. I've seen that. That's in the Criterion Collection. And then there's a bonus special features disc. So there we go. 5 films from director David Lean. This is early stuff, but not his earliest stuff. I think they're going in chronological order. So I think the volume 1 set was even earlier. Here is what the box looks like on the front and carries over to the side. You kind of got this collage of different characters from the films in the green section. I don't know what the significance of the green and red is. That's not a very attractive color combo, but maybe there's a reason that they went with that. I'm not super familiar with this director's filmography. There's a quote on the back by David Lean himself. Let's go ahead and pop the top off like we do with Imprint box sets. And inside, we've got a whole bunch of good stuff in here. Look at this. Each film gets its own case right there. And then you get a book that matches the style of the box set. We will start with the earliest film, The Passionate Friends. There is the poster for that. I do enjoy the original posters. I like that they use original posters on these sets. Same artwork there on the disc as well. And in this one, we have an audio commentary and a couple interviews there on the back as well. So some good special features. Just a handful, but it does look like they've spread them out throughout the films. There is Madeline, is that how you pronounce that? Madeline. And there's the inside. So not a lot going on the inside, but like I said, original posters. Sorry, I'll show you that one. The Sound Barrier. There's the disc inside. Then we have Hobson's Choice, which stars Charles Laughton. So all 4 of those have a few interviews on each disc, and then 3 of the 4 have audio commentaries. But then we get to Summertime, which has a bunch of special features here on the back. You've got 2 audio commentaries on this film. You also have an interview, and then you have the bonus disc inside. So there's the first disc for Summertime, and then you have that David Lean bonus disc right there, which has a couple documentaries on here. It has part 2 of a documentary, so I'm assuming the first part was in the first box set. And then you have a second documentary, David Lean, A Self-Portrait, and then you have 2 episodes of the South Bank Show about David Lean. So there's a whole list of special features on Summertime and some pretty good special features on the rest of the discs as well. All 5 cases in there, and then you also get a hardcover book. Now I'm hoping that this is full of writing and not just pictures. Let's see what we got in here. Oh yeah, this is great. This is what I'm talking about, Imprint. This has got writing all the way throughout. It says right here in the front, the following contains 4 chapter excerpts from the films of David Lean by Alon Silver and James Ursini. So this is excerpts from a full book about David Lean. So you've got tons of reading material in there, little excerpts from scripts. Each chapter is included there and broken up. So Lots of reading material. That's actually great. I always like reading a little bit about the films or the director after I watch through a box set. I've been making my way through a couple box sets right now that I'll be talking about on the channel soon. Those are actually from Indicator, and Indicator does a great job on their booklets, and I am happy to see Imprint also stepping up their booklet game a little bit. And the second box set we have here is another director box set, and this is one I'm very excited to check out. This is one that was announced last year. It is James Whale, directed by James Whale. This is the first one we've got for this director, and this is a director that I've wanted to see more of his work for a couple years now, a few years now, ever since Grace and I did our big deep dive into pre-code horror cinema. One of the films we watched in that month was The Old Dark House, which was directed by James Whale. Huge director, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and lots of other films. So we've got The Old Dark House in here, but it's upgraded to 4K. So we've got a 4K disc and a Blu-ray disc, a combo pack for The Old Dark House. I'll show you the box in just a second. I'm gonna pull the card off here and show you a shot of that. We also have The Kiss Before the Mirror, which is 1933. Old Dark House is 32. Kiss Before the Mirror is another movie that I have had my eye on for a little bit because it has an Indicator release, which I just mentioned, but now I won't need to pick up that Indicator release because I've got this version. And then The Man in the Iron Mask from 39, and then Green Hell from 1940. So 4 classic James Whale films in this list. I'll show you what the box set looks like. Look at this. This is awesome. I love the look of this one. This looks better than the David Lean set, in my opinion. I love the black and white. I love the collage of the characters down here. And on the side, you just get the 4 names listed in the fonts from the film. On the other side, you just get directed by James Whale, if you want more of a minimalist look. And on the back, you have the creepy guy from The Old Dark House, the butler guy. There he is. That's a fun one. And I'm looking forward to seeing it in 4K because it's a very high contrast black and white, kind of inspired by German Expressionism kind of film. Looks great, and I'm sure it's going to look great in 4K. There it is right there. That's the classic poster. And then on the back, we've got tons of special features on here. We've got 3 audio commentaries on the film over here on the right. Those are on the 4K disc. And then on the Blu-ray disc, we've got several featurettes and interviews right there. I'll open it up so you can see what the disc art looks like. There's the Blu-ray disc with the color artwork. And there's the Blu-ray disc with the black and white artwork. There's the 4K disc with the color artwork. So you got both films there. I will check to see if there's anything underneath. There is some imagery underneath. It's not reversible artwork, but it is a little image down there. So if you're someone who likes to change your cases out to clear cases, then that is a nice little surprise for you. Otherwise, you can't see it because it's in a 4K case, but these are all in clear cases because these are Blu-ray discs. The next film we have is The Kiss Before the Mirror, right here. Lovely classic looking poster right there on the front. Like I said, this does have an Indicator Blu-ray release, but I'm glad I held off and didn't pick it up because now I've got the imprint version. There's the disc art and just 1 or 2 special features there on the back. Let me know if you've seen that one. That's one I've been looking forward to for a little bit. The Man in the Iron Mask. Obviously an adaptation of the famous novel. Look at that. Look at that guy. That looks great. We got an audio commentary on this disc, and there is what it looks like inside. And then the last one we have has a great poster. It's called Green Hell, and it looks like it's an adventure movie. A group of explorers delve into the South American jungle in search of Inca treasure. They soon find themselves battling a tribe of cannibals. Wow, that seems fun. And it stars Douglas Fairbanks Jr. and Joan Bennett. That sounds pretty fun. I love kind of pulpy adventure stories, and this is an early one. This is from 1940, and there are more special features on this one. You've got a video essay and 2 little featurettes there on the back. That's fun. I have not heard of that one at all. Of course I've heard of The Man in the Iron Mask, but I haven't heard of that adaptation. So those are fun. I always like that Imprint makes this card fit right inside the box. That is the James Whale box set, directed by James Whale. Does not include a booklet, No reading material on there, but at least you get a few supplements. And it's just a nice little 4-film box set, which I think is a good size for a box set. The one I'm working through right now is actually 6 films, so it's been taking me quite a while to get through it, but I've been watching with Grace, so we've been having a good time with it. Let's go ahead and switch gears from Imprint and dive into another one of my favorite boutique labels. We're gonna go into Def Crocodile, which has been pumping out releases faster than I can keep up with. I just watched 2 of their releases recently, and I did a full video on that a couple weeks ago, but now I've already got 3 new ones to talk about, and this one I've already opened, and I actually watched it last night. This is a very unique film. This is Song of the Miraculous Hind, which is directed by Marcel Jankovic, who is a Hungarian animator and director his most famous work is Son of the White Mare, which you may have heard of. It's probably his most famous film, one of the best animated films of all time. He has a very unique style. This actually is very different than Son of the White Mare. That was very 70s. That came out in the 70s, and it looked a little bit similar to if you've seen like Yellow Submarine or any of those 70s animated movies that came out around that time. This is a later film from him. Def Crocodile's already released one of his films, Tragedy of Man. This is from 2002. This is a more recent release from him. So we've got a 21st century film. You get your standard stuff inside here. You get your Scanavo case. Wraps all the way around, and then you get your booklet. So I have seen this film, so I can talk about it a little bit. The animation is stunning. The animation is very eclectic. It is pulling from all kinds of different art styles. The story itself is tackling a lot of Hungarian myth and legend and folklore. It goes all the way back to like creation myths and kind of the Hungarian equivalent of the patriarchs. Like it goes through all of these stories all the way down through Hungarian history until they become like a Christianized nation, and then it goes in a little bit into that history as well with like Saint Stephen, who's apparently a big figure in Hungarian culture. So this is packing a lot of folklore and myth and legend and history all into one movie. So you don't really have a protagonist that you're following or a group of characters. So it is a little hard to, it's kind of like if you've seen like a fantasy movie and the first 10 or 15 minutes of it is just like a big lore dump to get you caught up. That's what the whole movie is like. So you're just being thrown through history. But the animation is beautiful. It is pulling from a bunch of different art styles. So, and it'll not only will it switch between art styles for the different segments, because this is broken up into like 4 different segments, it will fluctuate art styles in the middle of the action. So you'll have characters running. There's parts of it that are in kind of this naturalistic, like painterly style, and then it'll just completely switch up to more of an ancient art style, where like a flat cave painting kind of art style. It'll also incorporate clay pottery art and like metal art, like sculpture, and it'll just incorporate those into the piece and shift back and forth between them. Really interesting. The animation is great. The story is told by a scribe who is like writing all of this history down, who's also animated, and then a lot of the story is also told through the music, because it's not a musical, like the characters aren't singing, but there's this like epic orchestral choir that's singing in the background that's telling all of the stories as well. Very cool. I like it a lot. It is a little hard to follow if you're not familiar with Hungarian history or folklore or anything at all, especially because the animation is so interesting. I keep wanting to look up and then I'll miss some of the subtitles because it obviously is subtitled, but still it's such an interesting, beautiful piece to watch through, even if it will take a couple of viewings for me to understand the entire story. I could not help but stare at the animation all the way through. Very, very interesting animation. I recommend checking out the trailer on Def Crocodile's YouTube channel. They don't always do trailers for their releases, but they did do a trailer for this, and I should say, this is a restoration. So this is a 4K restoration, and it looks great. And it also has some special features on here. It has a video essay like they normally do, and it also has an audio commentary and a video interview with the film's composer and a couple of the animators. So Fantastic release from Def Crocodile. I want more of this director's films on physical media. We have Son of the White Mare, we have Tragedy of Man, and now we've got Song of the Miraculous Hind. There's that painterly kind of naturalistic style I was talking about right there. See if I can get some other imagery in here. So there's some of the more classic art style. If you've seen Watership Down and you know how that movie starts, there's some similar art styles to that. Or if you've seen like Kirikou and the Sorceress, I was reminded of that film too. Look at that. That just looks like a painting right there. The Man on Horseback. But then you'll turn right around and get something like this, which looks more like Son of the White Mare, more of his classic 70s art style. And then you'll just go right back to something like this. So it is such an eclectic mix of all kinds of different art styles. So if you're a fan of animation at all, especially unique animation, not just like your standard Disney fare, then I highly recommend checking this out. And if you're a fan or have been wanting to get into Def Crocodile at all, this might be the time to dive in, because they are having a flash sale coming up in the next couple days. So check out Def Crocodile's website, and you can find the details on that flash sale. 50% off a lot of their limited editions like these right here. Look at that. I mean, there's just so much. I could show you every single page of this book. It looks great. I highly recommend it. Had a great time watching that last night. And I still haven't got a chance to see Tragedy of Man. I need to watch that one too. But that is Song of the Miraculous Hind, spine number 51. Moving right along to spine number 52, they have put out another Bill Plympton story. They've released several of his films in the past, and this is another one for Hair High. And it's also got his signature style as well, if you're familiar with him. If you're not familiar with his films, don't let the childlike artwork fool you. These films are not for kids. They are, well, at least the ones I've seen of his films are very inappropriate, very crass, very adult. I'll just say that. But yeah, it looks like it looks like his version of a high school movie. You've got all the characters here in the back. It looks like they have their actor's name. So Justin Long is in this? That's pretty cool. And they get their little character next to them. There is the artwork underneath on the case and the spine and the back right there. And the description says that this is Plympton's cheeky musical take on Rebel Without a Cause, Grease, Hairspray, and Bye Bye Birdie. So this is his kind of tribute to high school films, and I'm sure it's going to be very crude and very crass and a very horny animated film in his classic style. So if that sounds like your thing, if you've seen some of Bill Plympton's work in the past, then you know what to expect with this. If you haven't, I highly recommend renting or watching them somewhere else first before you purchase, because this is not going to be for everyone. I don't even know if it was for me. The one of his that I watched, I wasn't a huge fan of, but there is Hair High. And then the next one we have actually sounds, I think this is the one that I'm going to be watching first. Sorry, Hair High, but this one sounds a little bit more interesting to me. It is called Dead Mountaineer's Hotel. And here is the beautiful artwork right there on the front. I'll slide the card off. The artwork goes all the way around the back. This is a Gregory Kromonov film. This is not animated. This is a live action film. So this is a 1979 film by Estonian director Gregory Kromonov. So this is an Estonian film with English subtitles. I can safely say I've never seen an Estonian film. And the brief description here on the back is a paranoid mixture of locked room mystery, 1970s Euro giallo, classic noir whodunit, and alien sci-fi a la The Man Who Fell to Earth. So a smattering of different genres. This is also a 4K release. Hair High was just a Blu-ray, but the other two have 4K and Blu-ray releases. Always excited when they decide to go the extra mile and do a 4K restoration. I believe for a lot of those, Def Crocodile is doing the 4K restorations themselves. I know sometimes they work with other countries and are able to use like modern restorations, but for some of these, I know Def Crocodile is actually doing the 4K restorations themselves like they did with Feel a Day. So I always appreciate when they do that because they are putting out a lot of films that no other label is putting out. So it's not like they can just grab, sometimes there's some crossover like with the DIFA sci-fi films, but a lot of the times there's no one that they can steal the restorations from. They have to do it themselves. There's a little bit of a shining look to this thing, although it says there is a sci-fi bend to it as well, and the classic whodunit mystery. Here's some of the posters for that. But looking forward to that one. The description on the back and the artwork on that one has me intrigued, and that is the latest release from Def Crocodile. Can't believe they're already to spine number 53. It feels like I just started collecting this label. They have been cranking out releases, and like I said, I can't even keep up with them, but I'm doing my best, and I will try to get some of those watched and get a more extensive thoughts and review out for those in the future. Talk a little bit more about Song of the Miraculous Hind. And then I've got one more release here, which is from another tiny boutique label that I have just started working with. He reached out to me and asked if I was interested in his spine number 1 release that was coming out. And now they're already on spine number 3. And this is Petite Solange, which is several futures release. So right there, spine number 3. You got a pink spine. You got a blue spine, and then there's the cover on the front. This is distributed by Vinegar Syndrome, so you're going to get your standard high-quality Vinegar Syndrome slipcover if you get the limited edition version. And then underneath, we have the case of the film itself. It says Solange is a typical 13-year-old curious and full of life. When her parents begin to argue, fight, and slowly drift apart, Solange's world begins to splinter. To keep her family together, she will worry, act out, suffer. The story of a young and overly tender teen who wants the impossible for love to never end. So this is a French film, and it is a very recent French film. You can see right there on the front, it got the Jean Vigo Prize for 2021, and then it got the Locarno Film Festival Official Selection Competition. So it's a 2021 film. It's directed by Axel Robert. They've actually got a quote on the front here from Criterion. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, another label quoting Criterion, but it says one of contemporary French cinema's most intriguing auteurs. So that is not a director I'm familiar with, but I am now made aware of it by several futures, a tiny little label over on Vinegar Syndrome's website. So if any of their releases sound interesting to you, maybe check them out because I know they could really use your support. But we have got just a bunch of wildly different things. This is why I like collecting right now, because we've got so many different labels doing all kinds of different things. So whatever you are into, you can definitely find some examples. And these are 3 labels that I have had some great experiences with in the past. We've got some director box sets. We've got some international films here from Def Crocodile, some hidden gems like they always like to do. And then we've got a contemporary film from France from several futures. Those are all the new releases I have to unbox for you today. Let me know in the comments which ones you are most interested in and which ones you'd like me to check out first, so I can give you my thoughts in a future video as I continue to try to watch as much as I can. Impossible to keep up with everything, but that's all I got for today. Just a quick unboxing video just to show you guys a little bit of what's coming out right now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful, and until next time, keep collecting.